The Ashen Maulers, known among themselves as the Cult of Stekkening, are a warband of the Lost and the Damned that specifically worship the Slaaneshi demon prince Stekkentake. Unlike many Slaanesh cults, the Ashen Maulers dispense with all the twisted parody of decency or civility typically found amongst most Slaanesh worshippers like the Emperor's children. Instead, they are unabashed murderers, torturers, and worse, kidnapping entire planetary populations and subjecting them to horrors beyond comprehension by all, save perhaps the most depraved among the Drukhari. Unlike the Dark Eldar, however, they have no excuse for their action. They serve no purpose, no overarching goal, no deeper meaning. Their object of worship doesn't even specifically demand it of them. The depredations of the Ashen Maulers are committed for no higher purpose than satisfying their own twisted, sadistic impulses. Only about half the cult is coherent enough to employ any semblance of tactics. This coherent half are mostly made up of corrupted Imperial Guardsmen and typically operate vehicles such as Leman Russ tanks and Valkyries, or provide those vehicles with screening infantry. Meanwhile, the near-mindless sensation addicts of the other half simply charge the enemy and are used as cannon fodder by the rest. The real threat comes when their demon prince master appears, as his mere presence can twist unaugmented humans with weak enough willpower into joining their ranks. Imperial forces are advised to engage these heretics with extreme caution. Warning: all further information on this heretical cult is classified by order of the Ordo Hereticus. Any outside the Inquisition who read beyond this point will be subjected to immediate execution. Lucky for me that I'm a part of the Inquisition then. The Ashen Maulers began on the pleasure world of Vicar 4, a paradise almost unparalleled in all of the Imperium, at least for its noble visitors. For those who actually lived on and maintained the world, however, it was a life of unending hard labor, thankless servitude, and abuse from their so-called betters. For Dark Apostle Pontius of the Knights of Leren, it was almost too easy to sow the seeds of heresy among the populace and drive them into open revolt in the name of Slaanesh. In response, Colonel Caspar Vectaris of the Ashimar 30th Nova Guard was deployed to the planet with his full force to quash the rebellion and restore order. Unfortunately, by the time he arrived, the rest of the Knights of Leren's main force was just beginning to make planetfall. Despite the daunting prospect of facing a warband of heretic Astartes, the guardsmen of the Ashimar 30th were committed to restoring the Emperor's peace. As the fighting intensified, a seemingly unremarkable cultist achieved apotheosis in the middle of the battle, becoming a demon prince of Slaanesh. This being, in mortal life, was an administratum menial assigned to Vicar 4, known as Steve, from accounting, who appeared unremarkable on the surface but was in fact secretly the world's most infamous serial killer. When the Knights of Leren invaded the world, he and his fellow Chaos cultists rose up to aid them, and in the process, Steve managed to earn his 666,666th kill. Upon achieving this, he immediately ascended to demonhood. Those non-Astartes who witnessed his demonic rebirth, including the vast majority of the Ashimar Nova Guard they were fighting, were immediately enthralled and swore fealty to him. The first thing the newly ascended demon prince, now calling itself Stekkentake, ordered his new minions to do was mob Dark Apostle Pontius and tear him limb from limb, eliminating the most likely challenger to his authority. Afraid that he would lose control of his entire warband to this newly ascended being, the leader of the Knights of Leren, a Chaos Lord known only as Gaius, immediately withdrew all of his surviving heretic Astartes and what few cultists he still had control of. In a matter of hours, the Imperial forces were destroyed, the Imperial Navy vessels that had brought the Novagod were stolen, and the cult of Stikanteg was free to ravage any Imperial world they came across. Ever since, the cult has raided and pillaged every undefended world or vulnerable ship they've come across, as well as attacking their former comrades among the Ashimar Novagod whenever they're vulnerable. While they never openly declare themselves or even communicate with others outside their cult, one of their barely intelligible words they often shout in battle is Ashimar, in reference to their origins. During one of their first incursions, survivors misinterpreted the word as the cultists identifying themselves as the Ashen Maulers, and the name has been their official designation in the Inquisition records ever since. While it's highly unlikely that these Ashen Maulers have any true goal or strategy, experts have noticed that they gradually appear to be making progress in the general direction of the Ashimar. In an attempt to both redeem themselves and to stop this potential assault, the Ashimar 30th has been refounded into the dedicated anti-chaos Hellhunters division and actively hunt these traitors down whenever they possibly can.